All right, what's up, brother?
What's up, brother?
All right, thank you for coming to our episode one of Kaumatule Legacy. Um, yeah, so this right here is gonna be Luke Kaumatule's origin stories. Luke Kaumatule, he's my brother. And in Tongan culture, our first cousins are immediately our brothers and sisters out there. And Luke's dad is actually my dad's older brother. And we've been with each other since diaper days. It's funny because when Luke was born, I thought he was the same age as me, and I was 3 or 4 years old. He he came out of that the stomach like a 5-year-old boy right off the bat. And if you don't know, so Luke right here, he's 6'6", 6'7", about 400 or 500 pounds. I'm 6 feet. I'm 6 foot. So Luke said about six. How tall are you, Luke?
6'7".
6'7", about a good 235. Was it 225?
This morning I weighed in at 304.
All
Yeah,
muscle, all muscle.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like to think.
Yeah. No, but yeah, Luke and I have been to you know, been together for a good minute, and we've been, side by side, leading the next generation alongside of our with our other younger brothers and sisters around us as well, who you'll definitely meet along the way in coming to Legacy. But Luke, feel free to introduce yourself.
Yes.
Let's hear.
No, I'm just so proud of you, Blaize, for putting this all together. Beautiful message. A way that we can communicate our stories to the future generations through our own mouths. As our grandma, Blaize didn't mention, our grandma's actually Grandma Selamiti, our father's mother. She's actually in hospice today, which is what I believe is why what inspired you to do this whole thing, right? Is to kind of be able to tell our stories in the first person narrative. That way, it's something that's timeless. It's like a library of videos that we can pass down. And so, yep, my name is Luke. Pretty much raised as this guy Blaize's little brother. Our dads are brothers. I'm born and raised here in Hawaii. I'm the fifth of 10. I'm the fifth child of 10 kids altogether. We'll get to that. But I'm the oldest with my dad, Soakai Kaumatule, and grew up out here. Graduated from Punahou High School 2012. Was a football player, basketball player, and then went to Stanford. Played college ball. After college, got married. Married with two beautiful daughters, Aria and Avery, and my wife Rachel. But yeah, that's me.
There you go, there you go. And so, what do you do now?
Yeah, so today I actually work at Bank of Hawaii, and I've been working there for the last 2 years. My career after football quickly got into sales. So I started off in car sales at a dealership in Kalihi, New City Nissan. Quickly grew from a retail, just talking to people selling regular cars. I grew from that to a commercial fleet manager, where it then became more business to business sales, so dealing with business owners. And then from there, I grew to a finance manager, all within about 5 years. And then my wife and kids and I, we moved to Oregon, where I was outside sales rep for a bank, still in the car space. I was working for a bank that sold uh, loans. So basically, I was going to dealerships asking them to give us loans or to send us loans. And then I moved back here to Hawaii and started with the bank and been with Bank of Hawaii for like 2 years now.
There you go, there you go. Dang. So I'm sure our viewers would love to learn about your name. So before we go
Yes.
straight to your origins, like please feel free to give us the your name, your full name, the origins of it, and yeah.
Yes. So my name is Luke Ototulupeatao Soakai Kaumatule. And, starting with the first name, um, when I was born, um, our grandparents, me and Blaize's grandparents, our father's mom and dad, Silomiti and Sikota, when I was born, the day I was born, my mom and dad called my grandma and my grandpa, and Auntie Sane was there. That's our dad's little sister. And they asked them, what should we name Luke? Or what should we name the baby at the time? and they were reading in the Bible the book of Luke when they called. And so Grandpa Sikota said, his name is Luke. And Otutulu Peatao, that actually comes from our village. I've never been to our village. I'm sure Blaize, what do you know about the Otutulu Peatao?
Yeah. So Tulupeatao is a family tomb or a family graveyard where it houses all the great warriors of the past. More so the legendary warriors of Tonga that really made a major impact on Tonga itself. In fact, a lot of those who are buried there are figures that have installed or not installed but helped the current dynasty um, take power a long time ago. But it's a beautiful place, lots of history and lots of spirituality there too.
Um, as we're telling these stories in the first person, like, I don't know if this is true or not because this is just me hearing a story from my father, my uncles. But the Tulupeatao, that is actually a battleground, an ancient battleground way back in the days. And this was the land where, back in the ancient Tongans, we used to be known as, the fiercest warriors in the Polynesian or whatever. But when the missionaries first came to Tonga, this is what I'm being told now. This is just what I understand my name to be. Uh, the Tongans were trying to eat them and kill them. But this sacred land of Tutulupeatao is where the men of Fo'ui held their ground and protected the missionaries. And that's where I get that from.
Yeah,
And then Sokai, I'm just named after my dad. My dad's name is Sokai. And then my last name is Kaumatule, um, which comes from our village, Fo'ui.
yeah. No, yeah. So going on that same uh pathway, that's actually very true. Otulupeatao is also the battleground of a major battle where um eventually our ancestors thought like, hey, we could learn a lot from these missionaries. So what they did was they dug a deep, deep hole, and when all of the other Tongans wanted to kill and eat the missionaries, all of the major warriors, all of the Fo'ui warriors circled around that hole, put the missionaries in there and protected them, and won the battle, despite being surrounded by hostiles everywhere. And so yeah, it's a graveyard, but at the same time, it is a place of major battles being fought, especially in
Significance.
Fo'ui itself. Yeah, Fo'ui itself has so much history, and to this day, people are afraid of going to our village because of the brutal past that we have in cannibalism.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Umutangata, where we have that song, was it Lucky? One of our uncles. He made his song after
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
Umutangata.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know that song you're talking about. Maybe you can
yeah.
edit it into your intro. But
Oh yeah, yeah.
actually, it's funny. A little quick story that always stuck with me. So I actually high school I was like a big recruit, and I ended up going to this high school called Punahou. I'm sure you guys all know. But then my first few days at the football camp, I was that new kid, just trying to make a name for myself, prove that I can play on the team. But my dad always had this story that he was up in the stands having a few beers with the parents, and he got to meet one of the other parents, and they were just talking, and then the other parent was like, "Oh, you're Tongan? Yeah, I'm Tongan too. There's a few Tongan boys on the team." And then there was one of the Tongan boys on the team that got into a fight, like a little, not a fight, but a little, like just a little
Scuffle.
scuffle on the field and on the D line. That's where we played. And then that Tongan parent goes, "Oh yeah, that boy over there, he's a Sekona. He's from Fo'ui. They always fight over there." And he looked at my dad, and my dad goes, "Oh," and he goes to my, "Where you from?" My dad goes, "Fo'ui." And they all just started laughing. But it's funny that side of the island does have that how do you say? They're known for that.
Yeah, yeah. It's not stereotype, but it's the that not record. What is it? Reputation. The
Yes, it's
reputation.
a notorious reputation.
infamous and notorious. Yeah, all the fighters. I
Right.
know. I know. I talked to my former boss, who her family is from is her family's from the east side of Tongan, and she was talking to me. She's like, "Yeah, you for are you West Side Tongans? Oh man, you guys have a dark past, yeah." And I was like, "You know about the past?" Like, I know about the past. That's my family right there.
Right.
And she was like, "Oh man," we joke around though. Considering like how Hafkasi we are,
Right.
I feel like we were brought up very you know the way that we talk, the way that we joke around, it's very fun compared to like the other like mainland Polynesians that might be out there, or mainland Tongans.
Right.
But,
Definitely.
we definitely are like more acclimated or assimilated Tongan Americans.
Yes.
But we're pretty assimilated. But yeah, no, but it's beautiful. I thought your name came from Star Wars though.
No, that's what everyone likes to think it comes from, but it actually came from Grandpa Ta and
Oh,
Grandpa Mickey.
yeah,
And
yeah,
Tisane was in the room when they called too.
yeah. Oh, okay, okay. The whole time because you have Luke, you have Luke, you have
Falcon.
not Canton, but Canton, he came back with Jedi, his son named Jedi.
Right. Right.
And then, but yeah, Millennium Falcon, you got Destiny.
Right.
Yeah, I was waiting for an R2D2 or something later on, but
Right. Right.
no, 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 but yeah, that's it's still such a beautiful story. I did not know that Grandpa was the one who
Yeah.
named me.
Grandma
So
and Grandpa. Yeah.
yeah. Oh man. So growing up, what was your childhood like though? What was childhood like?
Yeah, so I was really blessed. As I mentioned, there's 10 of us, but with my dad, I'm the oldest. So my mom, she actually had kids before me. One of our sisters, she's actually has a different dad. Her last name is Tui Palotu, but she's they're all one of us. But what I mean is, she was raised with us, with me and Blaize and our tribe. And so we had Lotte, but in my house, I was kind of like the oldest boy. My dad, my mom, and Lotte, me, Canton, Destiny, and then Falcon came, and then Siobhan later. Yeah, we kind of grew up all over the place. What was my childhood like? I would just say I'm really blessed, really thankful that I grew up with a lot of siblings and then a lot of cousins. Very church going in the beginning, not so much later. Like we grew up going to the Pro City Methodist Church. I would catch the bus with my grandma every Sunday to and from church. And we were pretty much at church the whole day in the morning for the Palangi English service, and then we would stay until the afternoon for the Tongan service. Um, but yeah, and then also very football and sports oriented as well. We all played football and basketball, and we just didn't know that we were how big we were gonna get, I guess. And then I ended up growing up being over six. I'm 6'7" in high school, and so our life kind of became focused on school and football, going to camps, going to different combines and stuff like that, and just picked up a bunch of different offers. But I'm very blessed, I would say. Grew up with siblings, and you know, uh, just thankful.
Yeah, yeah. Now we know a lot about we know you mentioned your dad. Uh, now how about your mother? Would you like to introduce your mother as well?
Yeah,
And
my mom. So my mom's also Tongan. Her name is Fehi, um, and her last name is Mataele. But when she actually moved down here from California, she was in California. She had my older brothers and my sister already, but also with different husbands. One husband and then divorced and into the next. Um, and then she just had kids very young. So my mom had started with my oldest brother Sam. She had him, I believe, at 14. So just kind of like a not an easy life for her. But then I guess not sure what age she was when she moved down here. But she moved down here to help out with some of our family. Um, and then she ended up meeting my dad. And the way she met my dad, actually, she was best friends with. Well, the reason she came down here was for my auntie Liu Fao. And in their group of friends was this guy who we used to call Auntie Dennis Fiator.
Oh,
And, and
yeah.
yeah, Auntie Dennis was Uncle Louis'
Yeah.
brother, I think.
Yeah.
And so my mom was
Dennis.
always with Auntie Liu, always with Auntie, we called him Auntie Dennis, always
Yeah.
with Auntie Dennis. And then, our Uncle Molo, who we call Kaumatule, his wife, or I think was his girlfriend at the time, was our Auntie Misty Fiatoa. And that's kind of how that mix kind of happened.
Yeah.
But my mom's last name at the time was Tongan. She took the last name of her stepdad or her dad who kind of raised her. And so when my dad met her, it was Tongan. And then by the time, they started dating or whatever, I guess finally my mom was pregnant with me before they got engaged. Then they got married, and my grandmother, my mom's mom, Agata, came down and met with Grandma Miti and Grandpa Sikota, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, your mom's other last name is Mataele, but that father, I guess at the time, didn't raise my mom, so that's why she didn't have that last name. But my mom's maiden last name was Mataele, and if you guys know our village, that's our close families, the Kaumatule, the Mataeles, Seconas, all the names. And so, but then, because my mom grew up in California, my dad, there's no way they knew that they were related.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is why my dad likes to joke and say that's why we're all huge. There was something messed up in the genes. Yeah, but that's my mom. Mom's great. She's doing good. She lives in Utah now.
Oh, good, good. I miss Auntie Faye. She's all right. It's actually no rest in peace to Uncle Fiji. Yeah, Fiji. Last time I saw um your mom was we're at what was it Mai Tais um and we're all with like Fiji and them over there. It was that was the last time I saw him. Oh no, I saw your mom again, but that was the last time I saw Fiji till
Yeah.
he passed away recently. Rest in peace, and condolences to the family out there.
Rest in love to the legend, man, the warrior of love. Yeah,
Yeah,
my mom, she's very connected with like everybody, pretty much. And another thing I'll share, I guess, about my mom, her father. Um, I'm not gonna, he didn't raise her, but he was very actively around. Always stopping by to see my grandma and my sister, my mom and her sister. But he had like I think he had almost 40 kids. Yeah, and they have reunions and stuff, man. They all get to. My mom's got over like almost 40 something siblings.
oh my God.
Yeah, they should do a documentary on that dude. We
Oh
call it
man.
Grandpa Joe. His name, rest in peace, Grandpa Joe Mataele. Joe
Yeah,
Mataele.
yeah. That's why the Matele family is so huge, right? I
Yeah,
mean, the diamonds everywhere.
yeah, right.
Oh man, I didn't know that. That's really interesting, and it's also good because people don't realize how close the Sokai or sorry Kaumatule, the Sekona,
Hmm.
Mataele um families are, and just kind of backpedal for those who are not really who might be a little confused too by like a little bit earlier thing said was anti Dennis. Polynesian culture, it's completely normal to have, you know, a family member who identifies
Right.
as um a female, and it's part of our culture. So I hope no one takes offense when we call, Auntie Dennis, uncle sometimes, because back then that's what we saw uh Auntie Dennis as. But oh man, he was alright. I love how
Yeah,
sassy he was.
yeah. That's how my mom and dad met. I don't know if you knew that. Uncle
Yeah,
Molo,
yeah,
Uncle Molo and Auntie Misty kind of were the one that introduced them.
yeah. Oh, there you go. That's beautiful. And then
Yeah.
your siblings, you want to introduce or kind of just
Yeah.
Just mention their names so that, a few people who watch this will be like, oh, hey,
Yes.
that's my uncle, that's my great uncle, that's
Yes.
my great dad, my great grandpa.
Yes. So the oldest brother, I think he's gonna be 40 next year. His name is Samuela Manoa. So his dad, he comes from the Manoa family, but he's our oldest brother. He was a rugby star, went and played overseas. He's got 10 kids, 10 beautiful kids, and they live in Washington. Yeah, he played overseas, and yep, 10 kids, and he's a superstar. Now he does construction, and then after that, it's Joe. Joe lives in the Bay Area. He's probably like, what is he doing now? His wife is a nurse, and they've got three beautiful kids.
Oh.
And these are my wife and kids.
Hey, Irene. Hey,
They're the two
girl.
little.
Hi,
These are the
Irene.
super, future superstars. Okay, Daddy's doing. You have a labubu. That's pretty good.
Oh.
Okay, go, mommy, and close the door. Daddy's doing a very important interview. Hey, go to the room. Close the door. Go. Take it. Sorry about that. Well, at
Thank
least
you.
they got to see themselves when they're kids. They'll see them. They'll see this in the future and be like, I remember. I kind of remember that. But close the door. Yeah, Big Joe. He lives in Hayward, so he's got a different dad as well. Um, yeah, he's got Rachel, three beautiful kids. He really took care of me while I was out at Stanford, the one I went to school. After Joe is Lotte. So Joe and Lotte have the same dad, and Lotte grew up with me and Blaize, or Blaize and I, and our siblings out here in Hawaii. After Lotte doesn't have any kids yet. I don't know if she wants kids, but Lotte lives in Jackson, California, which is like far north, past the Bay, California. And then after Lotte is our brother Albert, and Albert is named after his father. Oh, no, forgive me. Albert is named after um, my mom's father who raised her. Passed away, Grandpa Sunia, Albert Sunia. And Albert passed away after he was born.
Ah.
Our style. When people ask us how many siblings you have, I never count out the siblings who passed on. So I always say 10. So there's 10, but there's technically only 8 living. But Albert is older than me. After Albert is me. After me is Canton, which Blaize will have another episode, and Canton can kind of introduce himself. But he's also a football dude, football guy. He's got two beautiful kids, lives in Florida. After Canton is Destiny, and she lives in LA. And she doesn't have any kids. She's with um, her boyfriend, who we all love, Vita. Another Tongan, he's a Tongan as well. And then after Destiny is Falcon, our baby brother, who's the tallest out of all of us. So actually, all the brothers I mentioned were all 6'6" and up. And then Falcon is 6'9", and Falcon lives in Utah. No kids. He just graduated with his master's. You'll get to meet Falcon in another call with Blaize, and he's no kids, but he's got a girlfriend, Tahi, who we love as well. And oh yeah, and also I forgot to shout out Lotte's other half, Sable. We love you, Sable, as well. And then after Falcon is our baby sister, Siobhan, who lives with my mom in Utah. She's still trying to figure out life. And then, as all the youngins do after school. So good luck. And then so from Siobhan, she has a different dad as well who passed away. Uncle Nana, rest in peace, Uncle Nana. So, and then our baby brother Kalen, who passed away too. That would be with Siobhan's dad as well, brother Kalen. Which in our Irish, because we're also part Irish, Kalen means warrior, which I thought was a cool name. But yeah, so Sam, different dad, Joe, Lotte, Albert, all with a different dad, and then from our Kaumatule side, it's me, Canton, Destiny, and Falcon. and then with a different dad, Uncle Nana is Siobhan and Caitlin.
Yeah. Oh man, it's beautiful. I miss everyone too.
Yeah, I know.
Nah. So growing up, in your household, what was that like? What was it like, living um uh what was it like growing up prior to football?
Yeah, no, definitely. Since you bring, I mean, now that I'm a father, I look at it differently, and I live here in Hawaii, and now I pay bills. So
Yeah.
we grew up, and I always kind of called it like we're house poor. Like I'm so thankful to our parents. We always lived in a good place. We always had a nice house. But if you came into our house, there was like no furniture. We had no furniture in the house, and if we were watching anything, we had no cable. You know what I mean? Like we kind of had the house, but not everything that kind of came with it. Both my parents worked two jobs apiece. You know what I mean? Like just to make it happen for us kids. And I get it now that I'm a parent. But looking back, I mean, I could just think about it, all the pressure that was on their shoulders, bills, providing for a lot of kids. I mean, in our house, it was just Lotte, me, Canton, Destiny, Falcon at the time, growing
Yeah.
up. And we moved from Mililani to Honokai, got a nice house. And in the house, it was like a three-story house. The house is still there. So our grandma lived at the top floor, and like Uncle Velky and the Diva and the kids lived up there. And then my mom and dad lived like on the middle. And then the bottom was my mom's mom, Grandma Gata, and her husband, my grandpa Emini, and our cousin Nina lived on the bottom. And then there was like a studio where Auntie Cindy lived, my mom's sister. But it was kind of interesting. Like a lot of people were moving in and out. Auntie Cindy lived there at one point in the studio. Sam used to live in the studio. On the top, Uncle Velky and all his kids, Sage, Sire, Seti, who you all meet in the coming shows. They all used to live up there, and then they moved out, and then it used to be Grandma Kato. Remember Grandma Kato?
Yeah. Yeah.
Grandma Kato, Auntie Bessie, Auntie Suli, Auntie Lata used to live
Yeah.
up there, and so it was like just a lot of different. It was great, a lot of family.
Yeah.
But now I can kind of understand why there was a lot of pressure on my parents. Not saying everybody paid their own piece, but I mean like it's just hard to do things. You know what I mean, especially living in Hawaii, how expensive things are.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, growing up, my parents would always be fighting all the time,
Yeah.
and it just kind of felt normal after a certain point because of that. Like, but as a kid, you would just cry because they're fighting all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like you don't want that,
Yeah.
and kind of the football practice was kind of like the escape. The basketball practices were kind of like the escape. Sleeping over Uncle Pele them's house was kind of like the escape, get away, get minds off of things, or just playing with my siblings around the house. But as kind of grew, like my parents ended up growing apart. They ended up splitting up when I think I was in the seventh grade, and so that was kind of a weird thing for me because it's like you're born and you see your parents together, right? And
Yeah.
then you just think that that's how the world is going to work forever, and then one day they're seeing other people. You know what I mean? Both of them. You know what I mean? And it's kind of
Yeah.
weird seeing them with other people. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
I admit, like I don't know, like all of our siblings was going through different things.
Yeah.
I knew I was going through something, but like I don't know. I kind of in my head, I kind of took I kind of took it upon myself that I need to do something.
Yeah.
And what I ended up doing was maybe the wrong things. Like I started like stealing. You know what I mean? Like and
Yeah.
taking things I would steal and sell it. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And which was not a good thing, and I'll openly admit that. And one day I got caught. Yeah, one day I got caught, and I was like, oh shit. I didn't think I could get caught.
Mm.
But I didn't care that I got caught. But the one thing I cared about was that I had stolen a girl's iPod,
Yeah.
and when they caught me, uh, I gave it back. So they kind of like they didn't press charges or nothing. The girl was like, "No, I know him. It's okay," and I'm thankful for that. And the the counselor had told me, it was like, "Do you know that? Do you know what you did? This girl's father is in Iraq, and this is his iPod that he gave her." And
Yeah.
I immediately, I almost fainted, like just because of what I did. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I was thinking, like, man, nobody know. Like I was just being selfish in a way. Like I didn't care about anyone else. I only cared about me and how I can help my family. And that
Yeah.
was the only thing I could think of was, let me go take this, sell it, take the money and go and do something. And obviously, like what that maybe it was not it like now look back like what $100 like that's not gonna do anything to help your family. But in my head, I just in my mind it was I needed to do something. And long story short, so that year we had this is our first Christmas. Our parents are split up, and so you know we're in this house. It's pretty much going bankrupt. Everything's like we're losing things, and my siblings and I were like you know we didn't expect anything. We kind of knew like everyone, mom and dad are struggling. But then I remember we're there at the Christmas around the tree, and my dad goes, "Luke, go to my closet and grab my steel toe boots box, shoe box." Our dads all wear steel toe because they're construction workers, right? So
Yeah.
we've always seen the steel toe shoe box. Nobody touched it. The whole, so I go and grab the box and give it to my dad. Oh, here, dad. He goes, open it. And so I opened it, and then right there was four Christmas presents inside of the shoebox. Yeah, and it was so me, Lotte, Canton, and Destiny, because Falcon was just a little baby.
Yeah.
We got these gifts, and when we opened it, they were the PSP. I don't know if you remember the PSP.
Yeah. Yeah. PlayStation portables.
Yeah, so these things were like the hottest thing at the time, and they're like I think $200 a piece. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And we were like screaming and cheering and jumping around, like yeah, and we were so happy. And all I could just remember being was thankful, like. And if I think back to previous Christmases, it was more like expecting, like, oh, what am I gonna get for Christmas? What am I gonna get for Christmas? This Christmas was a Christmas like nothing was under the tree the whole month, and we weren't expecting nothing because we knew what was going on. Our parents were splitting up. But then
Yeah.
I just remember being so thankful. And I kid you not, the first week after Christmas break, I go back to school, and that PSP got stolen.
Man. God damn.
And and I don't give a crap about the PSP.
Yeah.
I was so worried to go home and tell my dad it got stolen. And my dad works 2, 3 jobs. Like I
Yeah.
know the amount of time he spent to buy us those Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
Like that's what I was scared about. And it ended up coming back, like because I told you I was like in a group back. It found out that he stole like one of the guys in my group, my little gang.
Yeah.
But I told him I was out. I'm done. I never stole a thing ever since. Like it was like God told me a story. Like this is what you were doing. This is how you made people feel. They may be material things, but it's not about the material. It's about
Yeah.
the significance. And I like the PSP. Like I wanted it for how many years? My dad finally got it. I didn't care about the PSP. You know what I mean? I cared
Yeah.
about looking at my dad and telling him like after like my dad's going through all this broken heart and all that kind of stuff, like now I'm gonna add to his plate. But thankfully it came back. But it was like a
Yeah.
life lesson. And you know, with all that being said, like tough upbringing. But after all that, like I just kind of dove deep into the books. My dad always
Yeah.
kind of instilled in us: if I go to work all day long, your only job is to bring me home A's. And so
Yeah.
that's all I had, all straight A's. And when I was in school, I became obsessed. Like, my parents divorced. Like I said, my siblings were all going through it, but then I kind of flipped the switch. Like when I was making the wrong decisions, like that kind of trauma, people can go down a series of wrong decisions, emotional
Yeah.
decisions. I'm thankful to God that it stopped right there.
Hmm.
And then I stopped blaming the world. I stopped blaming the world, and I realized, like, dude, don't point the finger at mom and dad. Don't point the finger at nobody. Point the finger right here at yourself, and
Yeah.
just realize that you're responsible. It's your responsibility. And so that's kind of the thing I looked at. My like, man, if I feel so bad, I'm like 12 years old. What about Canton? He's 10. What about Destiny? She's 8. What about Falcon? He's like
Yeah.
he's like 4 years old. You know what I mean? What are you gonna do? And so what I did was I just became obsessed with school. I became
Yeah.
obsessed with training. And like if I wasn't doing anything, I was doing push-ups. If I wasn't doing anything, I was studying. And I became so obsessed. Like if there was homework and I'm doing the assignment, I would not go to sleep until it was done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like even there were nights I didn't go to sleep. I would just go to school the next morning, go to football practice because
Yeah.
of how obsessed I became. And in my mind, it's either I'm gonna get a football scholarship or I'm not gonna go to college because
Yeah.
I know that my parents can't afford college. And so that's
Yeah.
all I wanted. I didn't care what school I went to, none of that. But it's kind of like a bad thing happened, like the divorce, but kind of like a good moment for me to kind of flip the switch and step up. And that's kind
Yeah.
of what I've done and I've always done. The mentality was there, and I kind of just took it on myself, like no shame. Like I think when I would go to school, it's like I was like kind of ashamed to ask questions and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
then when the switch happened, I did not care. Hand went up. I did not care what anybody else thought, how stupid I looked. I would ask them those things. I would ask the most questions,
Yeah.
even if the question made me look stupid. It was like I need to understand. Like I don't understand. What can you explain it in a different way? Like that's how obsessed I became. And even if I had an A in the class, if the teacher would give extra credit, I would do the extra credit. Like one time, yeah, one time the extra credit was to go and speak in front of the whole student body, like write
Yeah.
an essay, and I did it. At Punahou, yeah, I did it, and
Yeah.
Canton was surprised at the assembly, like to see me up there
It takes a
giving.
lot of fucking balls to, go up in front of a group of people, especially at your age, to do such a thing. Oh
Right.
man. Must have been nerve-wracking.
Oh, it was,
Do
but
it
that's
for
how
that extra
obsessed I
credit, right?
was. That's how obsessed I was. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I didn't care. I didn't care. I was just gonna do it.
Yeah. So what would you say for those who are experiencing the same, I guess, childhood um events or trauma that you might have experienced? Like, what would you say to them for those who are experiencing, say, divorce within the family?
Yeah, you know what I would say is that there's a lot of questions go in your head as a kid, right? It's like I mean I can't speak to every parent, but I would say that your parents still love you. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with you as a kid. It's the parents' relationship that's just may not be working. Um, but again, like it has nothing to do with you. Um, one, and then the other thing I would say is that you know it's kind of a tough transition. Like I know, like maybe Kanto will talk about his, but because like there's two different houses, and so like a lot of the excuses that would come out was, oh, I forgot my homework at mom's house, or I forgot this at dad's house, and you know, but
Yeah,
I'll just say it's gonna change you. It's gonna make you think of things that you wouldn't have to think about. It's kind of
yeah,
like it's almost a blessing in disguise. I mean, like one way, my parents weren't fighting anymore. You know what I mean? You didn't have to deal with them
yeah,
yelling. You didn't have to deal with that trauma of them arguing all the time.
yeah,
But I guess the biggest message I would say that kind of helped me was realize not as early as you can that your life is in your own hands. It's not in anyone's hands. So whatever you want to be or want to do, it's not up to your parents. It is, you have to get permission, for whatever you have. But like, there's things that you can control in your life, and there's things you can't control. So like, you can't control what your parents decide, but you can wake up in the morning and choose what attitude you have. You can wake up in the morning and choose, positivity or discipline. Don't be like me early on and start lashing out and doing stupid things that you'll regret and wish that you could take back, but you have to live with it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but all is in God's plan. I'm just thankful that, like, I feel like He specifically taught me a lesson. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy,
Yeah.
right?
It is. It is. You know, events happen, and you learn from those mistakes. You do things in life, and it might not even be the best or the good things or the right things to do in life, but it leads you into a path that is much better than you realize. And as bad as an event could be, for example, being caught for stealing it. Of course, at a young age, we're all kids, right? We didn't really know better, but like to be doing such things and getting in trouble for it and learning from your mistake from that point, or like realizing such things, reflecting on such things, that says a lot of character in a person or in a child at that age.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's good stuff. Um, so like when it came down to the obsession part, though, so for those who um have experienced or wanted to get over such traumas, you were able to overcome such traumas by fixating on an obsession, and this obsession led you to greater things. Like, how could you, or what could you say to help others also get into that same track?
Yeah, I'd say it's just habits, and will. Um, and like, let me rewind back. Like, all that happened with my parents, but I'm very blessed because both parents were still very present. I know that a lot of people go through different stuff, but I'll say my mom was present and my dad was still present. They were
Yeah,
like co-parenting, and their other halves at the time were also very present. So I did still have the support of both parents,
yeah,
just in different houses, and then they had different spouses at the time, who I loved as my second moms and my second dads, in different households. But that obsession part, it's how do you kind of channel that, right? You're saying.
yeah, yeah. How do you
Uh,
channel that? Yeah, finding
I
that
think
outlet
I
or
think
way.
I think for me it was more so like looking down at my siblings because of where I sat in the order of my siblings. I was like one of the older siblings, and
Yeah.
just feeling a sense of responsibility to them. Like, I think it was more them seeing them there and realizing that if I don't do this, they're just gonna fall into my footsteps. Like, that's kind of like in my head why I became so obsessed. Like, if I don't graduate high school, he's not gonna graduate high school. So that's just
Yeah.
kind of like why I took that responsibility. Um, and then, like, the way I kind of viewed myself is that I kind of always knew, like, I'm not the smartest person in the room. Like, what I mean by that is, like I said earlier, I had to raise my hand a million times. Like, if somebody tells me something, I'm not the type of person that just understands what it is right there. I'm the type of person that, wait, what do you mean by that? And so what I realized was that I have to work 10 times harder than everybody else
Hmm.
just to be there. And
Yeah.
so I took that as, effort. That was one things that you can control, your effort, how much
Yeah.
you try, how much you're
Yeah.
willing to try. Um, and I remember, like, I was always in our cousin Caesar math class, and I would raise my hand for all these kind of things, and I would just turn in my homework. Like, it, uh, a certain point of time, like when my parents divorced, like, when I was younger, like before my parents divorced, like, I'll just give you a little bit of background. I was sixth grade, and I came home. My mom and dad were still together. I came home, and I said, "Dad," he was like, "What?" "I'm passing." I gave him my report card, and it's all C's. And he said, "What the hell is this?" Because, but then I realized that school is more than just being smart. There's also like kind of like a formula to school,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
realized that at a younger age. When my parents divorced, I started just turning in my homework, like
Hmm.
just turning it in, like doing as much as I can, answering every question and turning it in, like. And then the homework would come back like 80%, 70%, ninety
Yeah.
percent, 100%. But then I was always, it's a grade, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden I was getting all B's. And then
Hmm.
once I learned the formula, like, oh, participating in project speaking, and then getting all A's. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
there's like a formula to passing school. Of
Yeah.
course, like they want you to get things conceptually. I would say that I was not really getting things conceptually. I was just kind of doing things to just, hey, I did it. It's done. It's done. And
Yeah.
you know, um, I don't know. That's how my dad. And then it was all C's, and then from seventh grade up was all A's and B's.
Yeah.
And the effort piece was always there. But I
Yeah.
think that reminding myself every morning, wake up. My mind was my dad and my mom. They both were up before the sun was up, getting ready, working, and
Yeah.
then they were back. It's already dark. You know what I mean? Like, and so to me it was, how can I pay them back?
Yeah.
It was to do the same thing in football and in school.
Yeah. It's definitely the matter of discipline. That discipline that you are able to acquire in not just passing, but to excel in school. Yeah, I admired that because I remember always hearing like you getting good grades, and I'm over here like I hated school, so I would like ditch a lot. I think the only thing that got me by was just my wits and like sweet talking my way into getting like extra credit. Yeah, like I remember for me like I when it came to school, I just never got it. Yeah, like I'm not a fast learner at things. It wasn't until college is when I finally learned that formula you mentioned. And I think that's one thing that kids these days don't realize that once you get a hold of that formula or that algorithm or just that rhythm, a pattern itself of, do your homework, ask questions, and do everything to the best of your ability,
Right.
you'd be golden.
Right.
That's opened a lot of doors for you, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like I kind of mentioned, the mindset was always earn a scholarship and any way possible. And so I just kind of focus on that by day, and then the
Yeah,
offers. I just started getting offers from colleges because when you mix the school with the football training and the combines, um, go to mommy. Yeah, so like when you mix that the football with the school, like now colleges want you to go to their school, and
yeah,
so UH was my first offer, University of Hawaii,
yeah,
and then all these other offers started pouring in, Colorado, and then Cal Berkeley, and then Arizona, and then Stanford. The Stanford
nice.
offer came, and like I remember when the letter came, my mom and my dad were like tripping out, and I was like, what's the big deal? I don't, because I'm not really looking at colleges. I was just like, whatever one is the free one, I'll go to that one. And
Yeah,
guess Stanford, I know what it is now. It's one of the most prestigious schools in the world. I mean,
yeah,
people all over the world try to go to the school, and I got an offer from the school. Well, it wasn't an offer yet. It was a letter to come for a junior day. So it was a
yeah,
letter that said, "Hey, we want you to come and check out our campus for your
yeah,
junior day, and we want you to see what it looks like." And I went out, and I was out there with these other top recruits at the
yeah,
time. And that day, they offered two of us. I think there was
yeah,
like 20 different recruits that came on that trip, and they only offered two of us, me and this other guy, Alex Carter,
yeah,
a good friend. Alex Carter went to the NFL. Alex Carter actually committed that day. I didn't commit that day just because I didn't know what it was. And
yeah,
but what's crazy was that I remember my mom crying because so I mentioned to you all my older siblings were like born in the mainland. So my
yeah,
mom's kind of from that area, the Bay Area.
yeah,
Stanford is in the Bay Area, and so I just remember my mom saying that she never thought that one of her kids could go to that school or
yeah,
whatever. She just never dreamed of it, and I was like, wow, what an honor. So, but the only thing about it was just because so most of the other colleges, because my grades were really good, my SATs
yeah,
were good enough, was that I could just pick any college and I can go. But at
yeah,
Stanford, I still had to write 5 essays,
yeah.
and I had to increase the score for my SAT
There you go.
in order to get in. So I actually took the SAT 5 times.
Yeah. Hey, consistency, right?
Yeah,
A
I
lot
took
of
that
people
thing
give
five
up.
times.
A lot of people give up after the first time. I know I took it one time. I was like, "Fuck that! I ain't going back." I couldn't even carry like two pencils or something. Like, oh,
Right. You remember
I'm going
that?
to army.
Yeah. Dude.
But that's that's dedication, you know, and like, yeah, shit. When I found out about you going to Stanford, I was so proud of you too. I was like, fuck yeah,
Where were
get
you?
out
You
of
were in
there.
Iraq,
I think I was in Afghanistan at the time.
Afghanistan.
Yeah, and I found out. I was like, fuck yeah, all right. Don't join the army, you know. Fuck that shit.
No.
uh, but that, you know, we'll actually save your football arc for the next episode though. But yeah, shit. That's a lot of stuff, you know. Like for somebody, you know, your age, you don't have to give your age out right now. It's some enough personal information has been shared to where like somebody from a third world country will try to like take your identity or some shit.
They made a movie about. They didn't give us credit. Me and you credit.
Yeah. Oh, his name was not Luke, it was Mark.
It was one of the other disciples.
Yeah. uh, no, but no, shoot. You know, I really hope, you know, people could look or listen to this and be like, wow, like there's a lot that I can relate to with this. And even for future generations to be like, dang, my great 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 grandpa went through this and look at him now. You know, he's standing, he's done so much with his life. And you know, whatever obstacles come their way, they're gonna be able to think like, dang, what would Grandpa Luke would do, or
Right.
what would Grandpa Luke say, or what would he do um in this situation?
Right.
And yeah, that's the biggest mission of having the Kaumatule Legacy is to be able to you know, share your story and to share your legacy at the same time and build that legacy to you know, create some sort of history in life because as a professor in history, you realize history only belongs is only written by the winners.
Right.
And those who write it down or who take that step to kind of record it, and many things have been lost in time. For you to be able to share this much, that's a testament to your will, your bravery. Um, yeah, thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for doing this, man. Excited for the future episodes with the rest of the Kamatules, and I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, so our next episode with you will be on you know, football, adversity, major
Right.
transitions, especially going from school or
Okay.
from high school to college and then college uh going into the lot and everything in between. But before we end this though, you know, would you mind sharing your very first memory you've had?
Damn. I never thought of that till now. My very first memory I had. Thinking back, like that's a
Very
question nobody's ever asked me.
Yeah. So I think about this because, you know, grandma has dementia and I was able to record her and get her interview right before her dementia really set, like,
Right.
got worse. And I thought, like, grandma's memory was really bad. And I was like, man, maybe if we could at least mention our first memory now, you
Hmm.
know, it'll be more fresh later on, or maybe, you know, it'll be something kind of trigger some old memories to come back in a good way.
I don't. I don't think I remember my first memory. Honestly, like there's like I could tell you there's like what is it like shadow memories. Like I remember little memories. Like
It's very vague. Yeah.
yeah, very vague. Like I remember dropping a brick on my toe while I was in diapers,
Yeah.
and it was at one of Grandpa Sicota's jobs,
Yeah.
and he like slapped me and yelled at me, and then picked me up, and I like shit in my diaper. Like I kind of like vague like that, and then he took me to home to Grandma Mitty
Yeah.
in Mililani somewhere, I think.
Was that the same time you filled out the card or something?
Hey, I don't know. I don't even remember that. I don't have memories of that.
Yeah, I remember that. I was like, Luke filled out the card. Like, what? he, he opened the car door and then he just fell out. I'm like, oh man.
You know
But
what's funny? You know who else did that? Falcon did that.
Oh man.
But he did it when he was older. I think I was like a baby when I did that. That's why I was
Yeah, yeah,
but I think Falcon did that when he was 5, 4.
yeah. Oh, there you go.
So
Falcon. No wonder he's so smart, though.
put your kids in car seats.
Yeah. And then one last thing too, like, do you have a message right now for viewers and because yeah, I know you mentioned already, you know, your advice to certain, you know, traumas people might come across and say, for example, divorce. Do you have any advice to anyone else who wants to get into, you know, something better in life, you know, get out from maybe where they are now and keep striving for other things? Or do you have any advice for anyone who might be in your same situation right here, right now, or in the future?
Just remember the things you can control. Control. You can't control everything. Once you realize the things that you can control, a lot of stress falls off your shoulders. And just remember that life doesn't always go up. Like there's gonna be a lot of dark times, negative times, and you gotta realize that like bigger picture, like
Yeah,
there is no positive if there is no negative. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta accept both sides, the yin and the yang, both sides of the coin, the dark and the light, and you just
yeah,
gotta realize that once you put your mind in a state of thankfulness, like hey, there's a lesson I'm supposed to learn during this dark time, and you know what? There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. There's always you know positivity coming. So you know whatever you're going through right now, just keep taking the next step. Just keep stepping, pivoting, changing. Go with it. Don't fight it. You know, I'm going. Everyone's going through something, but just remember that you'll get through it.
yeah, yeah. All right, brother. Thank you, thank you. And for all of you great grandchildren of Luke Kaumatule, it's your grandpa. All right. There's more to come for Luke. We're gonna do arc series. You know, me and Luke here. We are, believe it or not, we're major nerds and geeks. We love anime and stuff. We love anime. We
Yeah,
love Star Wars. We love Lord of the
yeah,
Rings. People look at us, they think we're a bunch of like meatheads, but in reality, we'll go on like the most geekiest things sometimes.
yeah, yes,
That's how we're gonna kind of structure some of these podcasts. Eventually, you know, I'll get better at hosting these, but I hope, you know, you get a good idea of, you know, Luke's origin story, from where he came from and to where he's now. Slow and steady. But thank you everyone for coming. All right, brother.
off out the doggo, yo.